This question comes from Sarah, who asks, what would happen if the government suddenly made it illegal to use, possess, or trade any denomination of money smaller than a $100 bill? Sarah, I hope you have a very large freezer and zero interest in small talk. Because you aren't just making wallets easier to carry, you're forcing the entire global market to admit that unless something is worth a 3-course steak dinner, it effectively no longer exists. At first, this sounds like a dream for people who hate carrying heavy wallets. But for the rest of the world, the economy would enter a state of logistical shock within roughly 12 seconds. If you're at a self-checkout buying a $1.25 pack of gum, you have two choices. Walk away empty-handed or hand over a $100 bill and tip the machine $98.75. Since the machine is legally barred from spitting out 5s, 10s, or quarters, that change is effectively incinerated by the law. Within the first hour, the rounding up phenomenon would take over. Every price tag in the country would have to be updated to the nearest hundred. This is where the economy loses its ability to measure small value. Imagine not being able to feed your family for the night unless you are willing to spend $100 on a single gallon of milk. This isn't just inflation, it's a total breakdown of logic. A $4 latte? Now it's $100. A $102 bag of groceries? Suddenly, that's $200. If you look at the consumer price index, the minimal viable purchase has just increased by roughly 80%. By the 6-hour mark, a shadow barter system would emerge. Since you can't pay someone $15 for a haircut, you start trading fractional assets. You might give your barber a half-used bottle of laundry detergent or 3 AAA batteries in exchange for a trim. In the world of grounded noir economics, Tide detergent and postage stamps effectively become the new $5 and $10 bills. They have a known, stable value, and crucially, they aren't illegal to carry. After 24 hours, the Federal Reserve would face a physical crisis. There are currently about 18 billion $100 bills in circulation, which sounds like a lot until you realize there are over 50 billion smaller notes that just became illegal. If the 100 is the only legal tender, there simply aren't enough pieces of paper to move the economy. The velocity of money, how fast a dollar moves from one hand to another, would plummet. People would hoard their hundreds like dragon gold because if you spend one, you might not see another for weeks. At that point, we've redefined the rules of survival. You don't buy a loaf of bread, you buy 40 loaves at once to hit that $100 threshold. Every citizen would need a massive industrial freezer just to survive a trip to the grocery store. We'd see the rise of bundled living, where you can't buy a single pair of socks, only a lifetime supply. Eventually, the $100 bill would lose its status as a high-value note and become the new penny. You'd see Benjamins blowing down the street like trash because you can't actually buy anything useful with just one. If you want a car, that'll be 500 stacks of hundreds, please? By the time the government realizes the mistake, the small change cartels would already be running the streets, smuggling contraband nickels in the linings of their coats. An economy doesn't collapse because money disappears. It collapses because small things stop mattering. And once that happens, nothing big survives either. So there's that.